Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Community Spotlight. For those of you who do not know, the Community Spotlight is a series we do exclusive here on our YouTube channel where we take a single map, a single content creator and a single video all made in the glorious name of Stronghold, show them off to you guys and answer a bunch of community questions. Now remember, if you would like to submit questions or videos or maps to be used in future episodes, then head over to the Facebook Stronghold group, sign up there because that's where I source all the stuff I use in the Community Spotlight. But without further ado, let's get to it. First up is our content creator, and this week we're proud to highlight our main Deutschland Strongholder, Udwin. Unfortunately for you non-German speakers out there, Udwin's videos are indeed in his nation's language, but we thought we'd highlight him anyway as he's been supporting us by making great Stronghold content on his channel for about 7 years now. What a guy. On his channel you can find classic Let's Plays, tutorials and all kinds of in-depth Stronghold analysis. He's a great creator to follow if you're at all interested in truly evolving your castle designs and horse archer strategies. This episode's highlighted video is an awesome Castle Jam cover by Med and Nas. Here's an excerpt. Not only is Med evidently a truly talented musician, but the production behind the video itself is fantastic. With a great setting and serene atmosphere exuding from the piece, I recommend this to any Stronghold fan trying to relax after attempting the final missions on hard. Finally, we come to our magical map of the episode, Serpentile. Designed by Harold Mulder, or H Mulder 66 as he goes by on Steam. Serpentile is a balanced 4-player skirmish map which provides you a pleasant duality of delightful views and sculpted strategic points. With each player getting a limited spit of land to work with, you must hastily build up your army and defences as there are 2 direct points of attack, either over the islands themselves or the mountain pass. And believe me, that mountain pass can kick your ass.
Buildings are on fire, sire!
Moving on to the questions. Now, a quick disclaimer before we move on. Some of the questions asked on the Stronghold Facebook group for this episode of the Community Spotlight were regarding Stronghold Next. We are currently planning to do a massive Q&A video for Stronghold Next because there were so many questions asked from last week's video, the 13 things you didn't know about Stronghold Next video. Go check that out if you haven't. So if you did ask a question in the Facebook group regarding Stronghold Next, sadly you won't be featured on this episode, but we will be putting you in the Stronghold Next Q&A. Well, most definitely be putting you. But with that, covered, let's get on with the questions. First up, we have Janos Zombat. So a question, have you guys ever considered doing a licensed game, Stronghold or not, and what would you do gladly? I must say, a proper Game of Thrones strategy game would be awesome and popular, but as a huge Star Wars fan, I would die to see a Star Wars strategy game developed for PC and not mobiles. So would we. Empire of War was a great game. And this is a really interesting question. So obviously while sort of that would rest on the owners of the properties, Mr. Martin and Disney, it's worth mentioning that this would remove sort of the autonomy that we is paramount at Firefly, it's top priority. And working with massive IPs and franchises would mean so many sort of red tape and strings attached. Why we've been around for nearly 20 years, a large part of that is due to being able to have our own creative freedom, and now we're self-publishing, and all that stuff just not only allows us to operate the way we do, but is a part of our sort of company's cultural fabric, if you will. So while literally everyone at the studio is either a Game of Thrones fan or a Star Wars fan, or both, probably, you'll probably find 90% of both. Ultimately, we're better off in terms of keeping the autonomy that we so enjoy, both creatively and business-wise. So in terms of projects we work on and how we run them, it's just better if we stick to our own IPs. But great question. Moving on, we have Michael Bianchi. Hey Aaron, Tenuru here. Any thoughts on putting a new mode to the existing and maybe new Stronghold games where you can play an amount of maybe 12 to 16 players, extremely large XXL super maps? While Tenryu, of course, you are one of our top map makers out there, and we'd love to give you sort of the creative freedom that XXL maps, for lack of a better phrase, would give you. For the time being, however, you'll probably have to just settle for XL maps. But without spoiling anything, There will definitely be a lot happening in sort of Stronghold Next multiplayer maps, so keep your eyes peeled on that front. Yeah, as for future titles, it's very much to be decided, but you know, we'd love to, of course. Moving on, Paul Madera, who created the Rat's Castle in Stronghold Crusader. That will be down to sort of probably a collaboration of the few Stronghold OGs who were, you know, here way back when Crusader was actually being produced and developed. So Simon Bradbury, Andy Prime, both who are still here, and Andy McNabb. And that's the game developer Andy McNabb, not the famous English novelist and SAS trooper. Sophocles Guvaz. I think that went well. I always wondered if the AI opponents are based on real historical figures, with the exception, of obvious stuff like Richard, Saladin, etc., and who they are. Was Stronghold 1 based on a real war? Finally, does the studio have a medieval history consultant, or do the devs research by their own? Yeah, as you'd expect from the creators of a sort of series with historical warfare, lots of us are history nerds. We've got some history degrees here, and some encyclopedic knowledge of, you know, the Middle Ages and siege warfare, all dotted around the office, as well as, you know, 2 full bookshelves of, you know, history books and old documents and, you know, all this kind of stuff that we use for daily reference. Leading into new projects like Stronghold Next, there'll be an intense research period. So when it comes to characters, we do prefer to create our own, but by basing them on historical figures from the past and sort of the evil and good things they did, but still making each original, we're afforded both historical authenticity and giving our artists sort of lots and lots of creative freedom to sort of take these characters and make them their own. As for the games themselves and the stories we choose to tell, lots of them are, you know, based on or take reference or inspiration from lots of sort of historical sagas or wars or battles. Most notably the War of the Roses, the Third Crusade. They're sort of probably the most obvious inspirations, as for those of you more knowledgeable about history, you probably guessed that already. But with like legends, you know, that's sort of plainly obvious. That's sort of the King Arthur and Arthurian legend and all that sort of stuff. Vlad Dracul, legends like Siegfried. And then for Stronghold Next, you know, we're very much looking forward to discussing with you sort of all the historical figures and context in battles and wars and sieges, you know, really discussing that with the community and, you know, getting really excited about showing that to you guys. So that was our 3rd episode of the Community Spotlight. I want to thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you want to see more episodes of the Community Spotlight, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube with notifications on, because it is exclusive to this platform. If you want to submit questions or maps or videos to be used in future episodes of the Community Spotlight, head over to the Stronghold Facebook group. I personally take everything I source for these videos from that group, and I also, you know, just deliver Firefly news personally myself, so it's a no-brainer really. Go sign up. And finally, of course, as always, if you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe here on YouTube with notifications on to get all the latest Firefly and Stronghold news. See you next week.